Scarborough Fair. Simon and Garfunkel. BBC Essex, 23 minutes past 7. Isn't it amazing what can come out of a simple conversation? I say that because a group of men from Colchester who meet in a caravan each Sunday lunchtime for a chat have managed to persuade the Borough Council to name a series of streets on a new housing estate after the crew of a Lancaster World War II bomber, which crashed 72 years ago after being shot down over Norfolk by the German Luftwaffe. The RAF plane, with a crew of 7, all in their 20s, was heading for the airfield at Boxted, but came down close to where now Junction 29 of the A12 joins the A1232 at Langham, near Colchester. This weekend, a service of commemoration will be held at that very spot. 3 of the group, who call themselves the Sad Old Gentlemen, have been telling me about their achievement.
The Lancaster was returning from a raid on Carl's Rouge when it was attacked over Diss and shot up quite badly. It found itself flying over Colchester, well alight, possibly out of control. And it was witnessed by a 15-year-old in Hawksley who woke with the noise of it coming down through the village, and he got to his bedroom window and it went down the main street quite low and banged over Several's Hospital, and he heard the crash. The next morning he jumped on his bike quite early and he rode up here, and it was plain to see the tail section was intact, the rest of it was just completely obliterated, and there were no survivors.
You lads had formed a group of...
We have a silly sort of Sunday club where we meet in a caravan, and it was just a chance remark. He talked about this. It wasn't known. Nobody seemed to have any recollection of this, but doing some research, and we found out quite a lot about it, and it seemed that it would be appropriate to mark the fact that this had happened before it was completely lost. Over a period of 2 years, traced relatives of all the crew. We then put this up, and in doing that, it then developed into, well, perhaps it should have a proper ceremony to open it. And most surprised to find that the relatives came from Canada and from Australia. It's done. It'll never be forgotten.
The new housing estate just over there called Avellino Place, all 7 airmen will be remembered on the names of some roads there.
Yes, they will be, which we think is an excellent thing. We were so delighted about it because they'll really be remembered forever. As long as this estate is here, they'll be remembered.
How do you think the airmen would feel if they knew that this was happening?
I'm very aware of how their relatives feel. The remark that stands out, the chap that came from Canada, he said he looks forward to returning to England with his 2 boys to touch the stone on the top of that memorial.
The total losses in Bomber Command during the war were something like 55,000. We've attempted to honour just 7 here, and I'm sure they'd feel a bit awkward about it if we knew they'd been selected out of 55,000.
What's incredible, I think, is the fact that those huge machines were being driven by 20-year-olds, how they were handling that situation when they knew they were going to crash.
You have another service here.
A small service, yes, as close to the day of the crash as was sensible. A vicar saying a few words and a little wreath laying again. There will be unveiling a profile of a Lancaster over the street sign to bring the 2 together.
Isn't that brilliant? Lofty Tolhurst, Tony Chumley and Patrick Mills of the Sad Old Gentleman group of Colchester. They're not sad at all, are they? Who've managed to get 7 streets named after 7 airmen in a Lancaster bomber which crashed 72 years ago at Langham near Colchester. And that service is held today at Avellino Place at 11 o'clock this morning. And there's a chance to see that memorial pillar they were referring to, which has been put up with each of the 7's names. And you can also read the story of what happened as well. And if you'd like to see a photograph of the street name leading into that estate, go to the BBC Essex Twitter feed. It's at BBC Essex. It's BBC Essex at 27 minutes past 7.
Whenever God shine a light on me, open up my eyes so I can see. When I look up in the darkest night, and I know everything is gonna be alright. In deep confusion.
I was in bed asleep. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, or thereabouts, near as I could judge. And I heard a peculiar noise coming from the aircraft, and got out of bed and had a look. And it flew down Great Hawksley Road towards Colchester, very low altitude in front of the house, with the wing tanks burning, and it banked over several hospitals and turned in to try and get into Boxted, of course, where they put the lights up to assist it, but it never made it.